Alright, so the basics for the Palomar knot is you're going to take, this is how I tie it. Now, there's several other ways. Run it through. One time, I turn it back around. A lot of people double up their line. When I was younger, I would double up my line. But I just give me good enough slack. Wrap it over like you're doing a, like you're tying your shoe. Put it up underneath. Now you got this tag in. That's a big loop. Yeah, and of course the wind's going to pick up when I'm trying to tie knots with this. Okay, now that loop, you want to slide your lure. Slide your lure through the loop. Now this is not a. I've always done this. I wet the line and pull both tag ends tight. Okay, and then I'll pull my line end. I'll pull it tight, and then my tag line tight. Okay, and then I always cut it off pretty close. It doesn't really matter because those fish in that pond are not line shy at all. All right, now we're gonna eyeball this. So it looks like that hook needs to come out right at the back of that lure. And maybe if I have enough time, we'll run this down to the swim pool and see how it swims in the swim pool. We want to make sure when we're running this through that we're running it as straight as we possibly can. There we go. Yeah, that looks pretty straight. Well, I could have done that. Well, that's about perfect actually. Now, if I had the floss that I had in here, I would have wrapped this jig head, but since I can't find my floss, I learned this trick watching Richard Dean the Fishing Machine, and there was a thing of super glue in this box at one point. Okay, so let's see if we could find. There's my super glue. You would think I would have had this prepared, so I just run a little bit of this gel control. There we go. And let that sit up, square it as much as possible, so that way after every cast you're not sitting there trying to fix your soft plastic. All right. And another trick I learned from Roland Martin, Palomar knot is what they consider, I think, like a 90+% knot, meaning, you know, it'll hold up to 90% of the tensile strength or more. But, you know, Roland Martin, I watched a video and he puts a little bit of super glue on his knot to give it that extra bit back. If you really wanted to hold that tag end down, you could glue your tag into your rest of your line. All right, we're gonna let that sit up, and we're gonna tie up these other fishing poles. Okay, that one is ready. Alright, we're back. So when we go fishing, I like, well, with these kids, they like to change the lures a lot. So I have these little small snaps, and that's what I like to tie on, so it don't take me forever. I don't have to retie every time they decide they want to change a lure. So same deal, you tie an overhand knot with your loop, you put your snap swivel through, and you pull it tight. I'm gonna tie 2 of these real quick. I'm not even gonna wet this one today. Then I'll line in first and then tag in. It don't really matter, folks. It's just the way I've always done it. That wind is whooping my butt today. So we can talk about this for a minute. Now, when we're fishing that pond, we normally go with a little 4-inch Cinco style worms. That's black with blue and gold fleck. That one did pretty good. You know, of course, your green pumpkin, green watermelon colors are always really good. I think this is one that my son had on his lure last time. You can see I still got a little bit of a tag end here. So we're just going to throw that one on for either him or her. Woo, maybe. Hands ain't working. There we go. I tried these little quick release deals that fly fishermen use over there, and the problem I had with that is they don't snap. Like, see it right here, that snaps into the wire. The other one's just bent out straight when Brody was trying to reel in a fish, and he lost the fish right at the bank. And I know fishing is just for fun and all, but it's hard to get kids interested in it if they're not catching. So when they have a fish right at the bank and then they lose it, it's a tough one on them. So there's fishing pole number 2. We're gonna get this third one, and then I'm gonna show you a lure that tore the fish up last time we fished over there. So absolutely murdered them. But it was a little bit later in the evening than what we're going to fish today, and it was, you know, I fished it on the top, and those fish absolutely loved it. Oh, I got a little too much slack on this one, but that's all right. So overhand, keep the loop. You want to put the snap through the loop, then you pull. Pull the line, and then the tag. Yep, we're not going to super glue these knots on this one. It was just, you know, while I had the super glue out, I just remembered I do that every so often, especially if I'm gonna put mono to braid, because anytime you do mono to braid, that's a very weak spot in your setup. So I was on the verge of telling you guys, when I do a 4-inch Cinco, I do a 2-aught hook, 2-aught. When you do a 5-inch Cinco, I go to 3-aught. So since we're going to be fishing that smaller pond, we're just going to put a 2-aught here, since these are the colors that that have worked for us in the past over there. And a little 4-inch, that hook's sharp, y'all. Got me right on the tip of my finger. Let's go with a black with blue fleck. And you know, if they're not hitting the Texas style, you can always wacky rig it this way, you know, and then that thing flutters down beautifully. Also, you know, once you tear up this end, if the fish don't lose it, hook it on this end. There's no sense in wasting lures, you know. So how I normally do, I go in just a little bit further than center. Well, most of the time I try to find the seam. It's hard to see it in the shade here today, but I think there's the seam. I'll take and go just a little past center, and I go all the way to the bend in the hook, and then I come out that center seam, slide it all the way up to the top. Right, and find where it's going to come through. I'll mark that with my hand, square it up, go center of the seam, straighten her up, text post. And sometimes I'll sit there and I'll rub all the salt out, give it a more natural look, but in a small pond like this, that don't really make that big of a difference. And we didn't talk about the rods and reels we have here today, but let's see, get this hooked up. So for the kids, they have bought these rods and reels off of Temu. I paid about $8 for the rod and $9.96 for this reel. It's a Proberos, I believe, 1000 series rod. I bought one to test it out, and that darn drag is just so smooth, really. And we have had no issues out of these as of yet, and we've caught quite a few fish on each one of them. It's got like a rosewood handle. The handle folds down for travel. It's just turned out to be a pretty decent buy. These are medium action rods. Of course, you see everything's written in Chinese. So we can use up to 8 to 15 pound line, 8 to 25 gram lures. I wouldn't even know what that would be converted to. Maybe I'll put it in the maybe a little deal on the top of the screen. And then this one was a medium heavy 6-foot rod. I think those were 6-foot rods too. Yeah, those are 6'5", 6.5 foot rods. This is a 6-foot rod, medium action, 1/4 to 1/3 ounce, and 5 to 10 pound test. I'm running 25 pound braid on everything because it's strong, it's super strong, and the line diameter, you can cast it. It just casts really great. I love braided line. I have a little fishing rod in here that has 8 pound braid, and that thing you can launch. You can just straight up launch a lure. So, all right, I'm back. We're going to talk about this little lure right here. This frog bait was just killer last time we fished that pond. So that'd be the first thing I try today on this rod, and this will be the second thing I try. These little gill baits, I got them off of Temu. I believe they're Dove Sun brand. You could probably buy them on Amazon, I believe, but it's a direct replica of the Berkeley gilly bait, just a lot smaller, and it works great in that little farm pond. I used the green one last time. This is more of a natural brim color, but we're gonna try black and silver fleck, looks like, and we're gonna see what we can do. Normally you rig these up with a little bit of styrofoam. There's a gap, let's see, there's a gap right there in its head. You break the styrofoam off in there, then you use a little nail weight right there. You push that nail weight in, and that bait swims and sits on the bottom like that. It just kind of floats up and sits. So I decided I was going to try a Ned rig. Same thing. Flop, sit down on the bottom like that, with that tail just going with the current. So like I said, we'll try it today and see, if that makes a bigger impact, because cutting that styrofoam and that putting that nail weight in there is kind of tedious when you're trying to hurry up and catch fish. But yeah, so that's kind of what we're going with today. Again, it's just like any other day of fishing. You change as the conditions change. So we're going to try with this frog first, which might be a mistake since it's not late in the afternoon. Again, this is a Rublinos. That's the name of the other Rublinos is the name of these reels, not Proberos. This is a 2000 series. This one is a 2000 series, and then the two reels I have for the kids are 1000 series. I can't see much difference other than there's just a little bit more spool availability on the 2000. Not much. It's negligible, and the drag is about pretty much the same. So yeah, so that's kind of it in a nutshell for today. I'm going to start cleaning up this mess I made out here and prepare. I have a couple other rods and reels in here. This one is one of my favorites, but we're not going to break it out. This is a Midas Black Bass IM7 rod, medium heavy action. No, it's medium action. Anyway, it feels more like a medium heavy. It's got a really stiff backbone, and this is AO Race 10:1:1 gear ratio. This thing will burn a lure back in. I'm not, looking to burn any lures in today, so we're gonna take it slow and fish methodically, hopefully, and mostly just have fun. So that's the rule number 1 for the day. Let's have fun. Rule number 2, let's catch fish.
If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.